Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's weekly update of the Turf Battles Triumphus project. This week we don't really have anything to talk about prior to the update, so I'm just going to go right ahead and jump into all the goodies. So, as we mentioned last week, we started to work on the AoE system. We actually finished it this week, along with a lot more of the game's features. Just log in my archer. So as you can see, my archer currently has trans and all the skills for trans and for masters. I already showed you guys all the master skills last week, so I'm not going to concentrate too much on that aside from the actual AoEs that they put down. I'm going to go ahead and start by showing you guys Rainbow Arrow on my archer. Okay, so in old turf battles you could lay down 2 AoEs at once before the first one disappeared. So you would have one AoE, a second AoE, and then by the time you cast your third AoE, the first AoE would be disappearing. We've managed to duplicate that effect. So I'm going to do one AoE to the left and one AoE to the right. And let's do this. So there's the first one. And there's the second one. And I'm going to cast a third AoE right here as soon as I can. As you can see, the first one was removed as the third one was laid down. Players can enter into this area and they'll be damaged. Of course, I won't be because I'm not another player. I'm the person that cast AoE. But I can launch another client and show you guys that it's working. I'll use Elite Test 8. Should have a red mage on it. Oops. Sorry. One sec. There we go. I'm just gonna try and speed up this video update simply because I'm short on time today. But hopefully you guys get the gist of it. So here's the red mage. Again, I have all the skills. Looks like I don't have Silence Aura, so I'll use that to show you guys Silence Aura upgrading. So while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and use Meteor Shower to show you guys that those skills now can be used as well. So if I could just position my screen properly. Alright, so first I'll do it with PK off, and then I'll turn PK on during the AoE just so you guys can see that it doesn't affect your other players unless the actual AoE has PK on. So as you can see, right now it's down. I have about 3 or 4 AoEs down right now with Meteor Shower. Now I'm just going to turn PK on, and now it's doing damage. I have to, oh, my archer's going to die I think if I don't use pots. I had 894 health left. Pretty cool. But as you can see, I can keep doing it, and it does damage me. I'll try and show you guys the damage. This is again without any defense buffs or anything like that, so the damage is pretty accurate. I'll do Fire Rain real quick. There's Fire Rain. Next I'll show you the trans effects on my archer. So we'll just transform. And as some of you may have noticed last week, the trans effect was making our weapons disappear. That's been fixed for this update. And I'll just go ahead and use my mana barrier here as well as transform. And then while I'm here, I'm also going to use Mana Saver, just so you guys can see that that's working. As you can see, my mana changed color due to Mana Saver. I can now use skills without them costing me any mana. As you can see, my mana is not going down, even though I keep reusing my mana barrier. It works just like in old Turf Battles, where your mana saver will disable your mana barrier if your mana reaches 0. However, mana rebirth, which is used by blue mages, won't erase your mana barrier if your mana reaches 0. And the only way your mana can reach 0 on either of those attacks is if a player is attacking you and you have mana barrier on, or if a user uses a mana steel gauntlet on you, or a mana steel bow. So I'm going to go ahead and use something like Blind Maker on Red Rum. Blind Maker only works on PvP. As you can see, it made my screen a little bluish, just like in old Turf Battles, and now I can't target anyone. As you can see, I'm trying to target Shock Dot, but it just won't give me that option. AoEs still work, of course, just like in old Turf Battles. You can still damage with AoEs. It lasts 14 seconds, just like in old Turf Battles. We were able to reproduce the exact cooldowns and cast durations based off of YouTube videos, so that was cool. Mana Saver and Mana Rebirth last about 3 minutes each. We got those values again from YouTube videos from old Hyper Engines Turf Battles. Next I'm going to use Poison Arrow, and I'll use Scattershot after separately just so my character doesn't die and you guys can see the effect. So here we go. So Poison Arrow just hit me. My HP is going down. It took down 60% of my health first. My mana barrier did reduce that damage a bit, so that's helpful. It won't actually ever kill me. It'll just keep going down. If my health reaches 1, it won't kill me, just like in old Turf Battles. You actually need Scattershot to finish off the effect. I'll just go ahead and use Scattershot now. It always hits the same values, no matter the opponent's defense. So, just like in old Turf Battles, just use Scattershot now. So you can see it hits 7,000. My character's still alive, of course. Took some of the damage away and put it into mana instead, because that's the mana barrier effect. So those are the Archer trans skills. I'm going to show you the Red Mage trans skills now. I already have Wide Fury and Mana Saver level 10. I've showed you Mana Saver. Here's Wide Fury. As you can see, it hit 11,970 damage, just like in old Turf Battles. Actually almost killed me. I'm going to go ahead and go to Lad, just so I can buy the books for Silent Aura. Here we go, Silent Aura. And again, these books are only sold in a store right now for pretty much no Lenny, simply because we want to make testing as easy and fast as possible. When the game is released, they'll be sold at an NPC for trans gems or island gems for master skills. So I'm going to go ahead and use my Silence Aura. It's now level 10. Silence Aura drains the opponent's mana, so it's a pretty big effect too. So I'm just going to go ahead and use it. There's the effect. Not sure if you guys can see it. It's not taking anything away because my character doesn't have PK on. Let's turn PK on. And now my mana is dropping, as you can see. So that's the Red Mages and Archers. I've shown you the AoEs as well. This Red Mage actually can't use it because it doesn't have enough yellow magic, but we have added all the buffs for all the classes, as well as all the debuffs for blue mages. So maybe later if I have enough time, or maybe in the next update. Actually, I think in the next update, because I simply don't have enough time today, sorry. I'll show you guys all these buffs, so Fire Buff, Blaze, Warm Other, Fire Shield, and Fire Charge. Those all work. As well, so does Black Touch, and all those other effects that blue mages have. Archer's spirit effects also work now. Unlike in Nana, they don't stack together, so you can't use an AP skill while you use an M defense skill. They also have different effects according to old Hyper Engines TB. For example, I think it's OREAD that gives defense instead of magic defense. We'll just take a look. Yep, as you can see, my defense went up. And now if I use outside, my AP should go up and my defense should go back down. Okay, seems my defense didn't go back down, so I'm going to have to fix that. But my AP did go up. If I use another spiritual effect like Self, it should increase my magic defense and lower my AP, which it did. Okay, and now we can use Fire Elemental. And then increase my AP, and then got rid of my Self buff. Alright, so that's archers and their spirit effects. We've finished all the other master skills and trans skills. I won't be showing you them this week because I just simply don't have the time, but I'll just name them off real quick. The Fist Warrior trans skills are done, such as Warp Speed, which increases your movement speed. Death Hand is also working now. As well, we have coded the Aura Fury, but that specific skill requires that you're in a party, and since we're not in a party yet, we can't test that yet, but definitely when we develop the party system, we'll be able to test that. As well, for blue mages, we now have winter restriction working. It's the same size as it was in old TB. As well, it also does the roughly same amount of damage as it did in old TB. As well, Ice Stinger is now working and doing the same amount of damage as old TB. And Mana Rebirth is of course working. And as I explained before, if your mana reaches 0 with Mana Rebirth on, your mana barrier won't go off. That's a lot of mana in one sentence. Blade Warriors trans are working now. Actually, it looks like I might have enough time to show you that. So I'll just log on to Blade Warrior real quick. And we'll log on. Fist Warrior as well. I guess I'll show you guys Death Hand. Oh, I don't have Death Hand on this character. Let me log on a different character. Maybe this one will have it. Nope. One second. We'll just log back onto the original account and we'll add okay. So we're gonna go ahead and trans. That's the Blade Warrior in trans. He looks pretty cool. And now we're just gonna cycle through all the effects. So Ultra Endurance is going to increase my defense power as well as my health, just like in old Turf Battles. So if I hit number 7, actually I'll leave that for last because the effect does last pretty long. So Absolute Defense, just like in old Turf Battles, it makes it so physical attacks do not harm me whatsoever, so no damage is going to get done to me. So I'm going to use that. It doesn't last too long. Seems my internet just crashed. That's great. Sorry about that. Seems my internet decided to crash. Okay, so where was I? We were going to be logging on this fist. Okay, so I've already added the trans skills to both characters. And I was saying before, in old Turf Battles, Absolute Defense while active would mean that you would receive no physical damage whatsoever to your character. So we're just going to go ahead and do that right now. It doesn't last too long, just like in old turf battles, but you should be able to notice. Just heal up a bit and use it. There we go. And we're just going to start attacking. As you can see, I'm not hitting any damage, and now I am, because his absolute defense ended. I'm also hitting really low because I have no jewelry on, and he has a full 8 set and rings and 10 rings and all that stuff. So that was absolute defense. Next comes Ultra Endure, which is going to increase my HP drastically, as well as my defense. There it goes. I now have 29,273 HP. If I statted more into Vitality, I would have a lot more. As well, my defense went up to 986. So right now I should literally hit zeros on him, even without absolute defense on, which I do. So next comes Battle Cry. What this does is it lowers anyone in range. It lowers their attack power. So for example, right now my fist attack power is 3,702. Once I use Battle Cry, it should lower. And again, I need PK on for this. So let's use it. So as you can see, my AP did just go down, just like it was supposed to. Now we're just going to go ahead and use Death Hand real quick. Oh, actually we're going to use Warp Speed as well first. So Warp Speed is just like in old Turf Battles. It's going to increase my movement speed. It actually makes Fist Warriors run really fast. So we're just going to run around a bit so you can see the normal movement speed of my character. It's even without Warp Speed, it's pretty big. And now we have Warp Speed on, which increased our movement speed by a lot. I'm not quite sure how long the actual buff does last. Scotty was the one that set all those values, so I'd have to ask him or look into it more. But clearly it's working. So the next thing we're going to do is use Death Hand, and it should lower my opponent's HP as well as turn his screen red. We're just going to go ahead and use that real quick. Heal myself up. And there we go. There's Death Hand. Just hit, and it works. So that's this week's video update. Again, I'm sorry that I couldn't make it longer, like our typical updates. I simply don't have the time today. My life's been pretty hectic with some things that are going on with it, and I won't bore you with the details. Just know that I've been really busy. Development is still happening. Obviously, we've done a lot this week. AoEs, buffs, those are huge deals. Next week, I'll show you guys more of the trans skills and buffs, such as the blue mage skills, the debuffs, maybe a PvP fight between a blue mage and some other character, where something like black touch is used, as well as the skill effects of mana rebirth and things like that. Maybe we'll develop some other content for that update too. I'm not too sure. Again, I'm pretty strapped for time right now, so we'll see what we actually get through with. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support and all the feedback you guys give on the forums, and in any way that you guys do help, be that through donating or through just posting your comments about the video updates or any information you have regarding old turf battles. Everything is a huge help. And again, thank you for your support. I'll see you guys next week.